Okay, so CMSimple. Last week we looked at some sample pages that were done with CMSimple. So you've seen the front end, you've seen what the visitor of a CMSimple website will see. Here's the handout. And what we haven't seen yet is the backend. In fact, we haven't seen a backend for any CMS yet. This is how the CMSimple backend looks like. Yeah. Here's our WYSIWYG editor. WYSIWYG stands for what you see is what you get. So basically, if we make a word bold in the editor, we see it's gonna be bold, and it looks roughly the same way as it's gonna look on the final page. Left aligned, right aligned, bold, italics, it's all pretty similar to what we are used to from Microsoft Word and other programs. Here we can see our menus, and once I talked about how the menus work, you will realize how to create new menus, how to create submenus. Okay, any big surprise so far? Okay, so that's how the backend is going to look like. So CMSimple advantage is it's free, it's simple, it doesn't need a database at all. Which means you can't do very complex websites, but if you want a simple website, this might just be what you want. It comes with a WYSIWYG editor. What you see is what you get. We can have different templates. So our content is stored, and the way the page looks depends on the template. We want a different look, we can just do a different template. We can just install a different template and activate it, and our web page will look differently. There are plugins available. So if you want to have some sort of calendar or an online shop or some form, then you can install those plugins that will give you extra functionality. The official website is cmsimple.org, and to get the English version of the official web page, you go to /en. Okay. How are the different pages stored? So think back when we started working with HTML. What's the HTML tag called that will create a heading? A heading of the highest order. What's the HTML tag called?
H1.
H1, yeah. So H1 is the biggest kind of heading. If we tag a line with H1 and we don't override the look of the H1 tag with CSS files or anything like that, then it will be a pretty big font, and we could have as many H1 headings as we want. What's the next heading down the line? A slightly smaller heading? H2, yeah, H3, and so on. So a website has many web pages. How does CMSimple store the different web pages? It basically stores the whole content of your site, all the different pages, in one long HTML file. And how do the menus work on the site? Basically, all your pages are in one long HTML file. Yeah, to have a bit more space here. Yeah. And the different pages. Oh, that is not working out. Let me just switch. Okay, so we've got our HTML file, and We then have the first page in the HTML file, so we've got a H1 heading with the title of the page. Yeah? And everything after the first H1 heading is the first page. Everything after the second H1 heading will be the second page, and so on. So your website has 10 different web pages. How many H1 headings you're gonna find? 10, yeah, very straightforward. The problem here is that basically, imagine you've got a huge website with 1,000 pages. That would mean it's all basically stored in one file. So we know a little bit about how PHP works. So basically, if you want to display a specific HTML page, yeah, let's say it's this one, then the PHP code has to look through the whole file and has to filter out the page you want. Which means you've got 1,000 pages. The code has to basically look through the file and find the one out of 1,000 that you actually want to display at the moment. That basically means the more pages you have, the less suitable CMSimple will become. But for small sites, for your average small website, for a small business, for a hobby, for a small organization, this is good enough because it means we don't need a database in the background. One less level of complication. Plus it's easier to find cheap or free hosting where you don't need a database. Okay, so CMSimple will then slideshow. Yeah. So I'll go back a few slides. Yeah. Here are all my different menus. So what will CMSimple do? If there's a H1 heading, CMSimple will automatically create a menu on the side. So all your different pages will automatically get one entry in the menu. And the nice thing is we not only can we have menus for pages, we can also have sub-menus and sub-menus. So we basically have 3 levels at our disposal. So what should our website be about? Give me an example. Anything? Shoes, yeah, very good. So how do we sort them? By gender or by style or?
Yeah, by style.
By style, so we got, or by brand, so let's say by style. So we got, let's say we got an H1 heading, trainers. Yeah. We've got a H2 heading, boots. Okay, give me a sub menu for boots, could be leather boots or suede boots, yeah. So we click on boots, the sub menu will pop out. Leather, suede, whatever. We click on leather. Let's imagine another subheading, whether it makes sense or not doesn't matter. Color, yeah. So then we click on leather, then it says black, brown, or whatever choice we got. So CMSimple tries to keep everything simple. We can have up to 3 levels of menus. You want more? Bad luck. But I think usually 3 might be good enough. So the main level is done with the H1 heading. How's the sub level done? H2. So H2 and H3. So the first 3, H1, 2, and 3, are used for splitting the pages and for creating the menus. And then if you want different headings in your document, you work with H4, H5, H6, because 1, 2, and 3 is reserved for this menu creation. Yeah. Okay. Disadvantages, by default it's only for a single user. Yeah. So if you want to say, let's stick with our shoe example, let's say, you know, if we've got a shoe shop, you know, you're managing the trainers and you're managing the boots. We can't really divide the responsibilities easily, because by default it's only done for one user, but there is a co-author version available. Compared to the big CMSs like Joomla and so on, there are very few options, and it's not huge. It's not suitable for huge sites. Yeah, if you think you've got the website for, I don't know, for the government or something like that, they'll have a huge number of pages. It wouldn't be suitable, yeah, because every time you want to display one page, we've got to basically go through the whole content of the whole site. It was quite popular, but then the guy, a Danish guy, started it off and invented it, or came up with it, however you want to phrase it. He stopped working on it in 2008, and then we had a new developer who picked it up again in 2012. And the latest version is 4.7.2, which is from this May. That's the latest version available. And let's have some examples of sites, and we looked at some of them already. Yeah. That didn't work. Let's try again. Oh. Okay, first example. Ukulele Society here. Yeah. How does it look? I think we talked about it last week. Yeah. Yeah. It's simple, but it does the job. Yeah. Here we've got a menu. We've got a sub-menu. Yeah. So this is a H1, H2, and then here George Formby is H3. Okay. Another one. How does it look? It looks different because the menu is on the right, not on the left. Haha. So we are using a different template now. Yeah. How does it look? You tell me. Yeah. Okay, but it was a quick way of getting this website up and running for whoever started it. Yeah. Okay. Let's try this one though. Another one. Yeah, and you can see some sort of a pattern emerging. Yeah. They tend to look quite similar. Yeah, here's another one. Most of them use the default template. Here's another one. Yeah, this one looks a bit different, but you can already see this is still some sort of CMSimple page. The next one, that makes use of a lot of extras. Yeah? So in the past, you could look at, I don't know, at the cheese shop, and then you could have a 3D view of the cheese shop and stuff like that. But in the end, now I can have a 3D view of the cheese shop, but it is just, it doesn't seem to be working in that Microsoft browser. But even if it was working, you know, that has nothing to do with CMSimple. It's just some other technology they combined here. Okay, this one was by far the best CMSimple website I've... Oh, no. Shame. It was working, you know, a few weeks ago. It was by far the best website I've seen with CMSimple. It's like an Australian hut in the middle of nowhere, I guess, and you can book the hut. And in the past, you could then even book this place through CMSimple plugin, but then they put it onto some other web page, the booking functionality. It's a shame it doesn't work anymore. You know, in the past, this used to be the best one. Yeah. So what do we do? You install CMSimple in the workshop. So how does it work installing CMSimple? We go to CMSimple. Yeah. Downloads. So I want the normal CMSimple. I download it. Save. Yeah, where are we? Okay. Okay, here's the zip file. You need to unzip it. There are many ways of unzipping it. But in modern versions of Windows, if you just double click on it, basically you're looking inside it without unzipping it. But we want to upload the file to our space on the server. So I need to unzip it. So I right click, I use extract to CMSimple 472. So you know, it will just use the name of the zip file as my folder name. Okay, here it is. And then you normally rename it to something better. So if your website is supposed to be about shoes, you know, you could call it Mike's Shoe Shop or whatever you want to call it. I'll just call it CMSimple 472. But you know, people are not used to enter uppercase characters on the web, so I keep it all lowercase. So CMSimple 472. Okay. Next, I'm gonna start up FileZilla to get it to the server. No, takes a while. Okay, oh yeah. Here we are. Yeah, okay. So I've got the folder where I want to install it to. You can now just drag and drop it. So I can just... Ah, come on. Thing with the two screens doesn't always work well. Okay, I'll take it. take the folder. It's my punishment. You know, I increased the zoom level so that the font is not too small for you when you look at it. But because I increased the zoom level, now things don't really fit anymore. Okay, here we are. So you can just drag and drop it. Oh, come on. I drag and drop. I drag and drop it. Finally. So now you see there are 400 files to copy, and hopefully they'll all go through as successful transfers. If there are any problems with a failed transfer, it should show up here. Then we need to basically resend the file. You can speed the whole thing up to some extent. Here under settings, transfers. Your number will be 2, so it will only send 2 files at a time. Theoretically, you could go up to 10, but I noticed in recent months the server doesn't like you to hammer it with too many files at the same time. And once you send too much and the server starts blocking you, that's it. You will be blocked for half an hour or longer. But normally 5 or 6 are numbers, you know, you can increase this to. Then it will send 5 or 6 files at a time to speed the whole thing up a bit. It's not too critical today when we only have 400 files to send, but you know, next time we'll have 5,000 files to send. So next time will be more important that this all works well. And the truth is, file transfers will be slow because of the way the internet works. When you send a file, it starts with a low speed, and then the speed will slowly go up. So if you send a gigabyte in one file, you know, it will start slow. It will go faster and faster until it reaches the maximum of what's possible with your connection. But here, you know, we start slow, and because we got hundreds of files, by the time we pick up a bit speed, the file already finished. We start a new file. We have to start again with a low speed. So the whole thing is quite slow. Okay, now then, next you go to the address, you know, where you put the whole thing. So CMS dot. Yeah, obviously you put your own URL in there. CMSimple 472, is that what I called it? Yeah. Okay, here we are. Okay. So new versions are quite nice. New versions have a login button here at the bottom. This is the page I just installed. It just comes with some sample data. So I can log in now. I do right click, open a new tab. And now I have one. Well, that didn't work. Let's close some of those. They're from my other module. Okay. So I've got the front end in this tab and the back end here. So you will need to find out what the default password is. I'm not going to tell you, so you need to read the documentation to find out. Yeah, and you can then change the default password, otherwise other people can log on to your site. Here are the settings. I can give it a new password. I can give it a different name. So what should we do, a shoe shop, or what should we do? Shoes. Yeah, so what's our name? Let's do Mike's shoes. Oh yeah, I'll zoom in a bit, then you can see a bit better. Yeah, okay. So I save it. So if I refresh, hopefully, yeah, now here in the top, can you see it? It says Mike's shoes. Mike's shoes. So pages. Here are our Wrong click. Okay, let's go back. Leave this. Let's go to the back end again. Log in. My new password. Okay. So I want to create a new page. What do I need to do? A new page and a new menu. We talked about it earlier.
Do you use H1?
Yeah. So where do we want our new menu to appear?
On the left, yeah.
Yeah. Here it should be the first entry, the second entry.
But if it's the H1, it'll be at the top on it.
Yeah, but they all are H1s. So let's say for argument's sake, I want a new menu between menu levels and templates and plugins. Yeah, I have two options, two ways of doing it. I either go to this page and put a H1 at the bottom of this page, or I go to this page and I put a H1 at the top of this page. Yeah? I just need to sneak a H1 between those two pages. So let's say I want it between menu levels and templates, so I'll go here. Yeah. Okay. So we do, did we say trainers? It's gonna be a H1 heading, and look, it's already a H1 heading. And then we do boots, and this is gonna, this is the page for trainer. Let's do lowercase trainers. And then under boots we want, did we say leather? And suede. So that's H2. H2. And then we do black and brown. Yeah. So that should create, if I didn't make a mistake, a heading for trainers. Heading of the highest level for boots. Under boots there should be leather and suede, and under leather there should be black and brown. And then, you know, here I just type whatever should be in that black page. So now I don't know, buy this black leather boot for 89.99. Yeah, now we put a picture in. Insert picture here, yeah, and so on. Okay, let's save it. Yeah, trainers and boots. And look, when I click on boots, leather and suede pops up. When I click on leather, black and brown pops up. Yeah. And look, there's an empty menu now. So by mistake, I must have somehow, you know, had a line of H1 without any content. So let's try to get rid of that. Yeah, so there's just nothing here. Let's trainers, boots, and what other shoes? Indoor shoes, sandals. Let's make it sandals. Yeah, here we are. Oops, did I make it a H1 or H2? H1, yeah. Okay. You want to delete a page in the menu? Yeah, you just go there, you just delete the H1 heading. If I just delete the H1 heading here, the page and the menu should disappear. Yeah. And now, because, you know, the next H1 above leather is trainers, so it automatically was put under trainers.